quite a bit going on, and the boat's in a million pieces, so there's quite a bit of it's very much a work zone right now. So let's see, so inside the main salon, just taking a look at what's going on here. So basically what we've had to do is, you can see everything's kind of pulled apart. We've had to change a bunch of the wiring. We're putting in the upside up system, which is the system that will automatically release the main sheet, the Genoa sheets and the Jenica sheets if there are if the boat starts to get overpowered or tips over, starts to tilt too much or whatever, too much lean. So there's quite a bit of wiring that we have to pull through for that. There's also this section over here I'll show you, which is kind of behind the where are we here, kitchen counter and the stovetop. There's a cabinet normally behind, so we have to pull the cabinet out, and right up there is the underneath side of the main to helm station winches. So one winch does the halyard, main halyard, and the main sheet. That's the one you can see with a motor on it, and then there's a winch beside it which you can just see the winch base. You can't really see the there's no motor on there yet, but we're going to be adding a motor to that. So we've had to run these big old thick cables through here to get that going. So we haven't got the motors yet, we're waiting on those to arrive. As soon as they arrive we'll be able to install them. So we've had to pull the headlining out in the entire salon, and the main reason for that is we need to, number one, route some cables, and number two, we are installing some pad eyes that will take the pulley systems that are going to guide the Genoa sheets back to the winch in the new winch. The winch we're putting in the cockpit. So we've had to expose all of the carbon fiber roof and find the points of reinforcement to add those in. So we're just starting that work now. You can see just up here where guys have kind of put the bolts through for the one of the pad eyes. The other pad eyes over this side here, just up over here. So putting the second one in, and then there's another line that will go in further back that will lead the sheet right back towards the winch. So that's the work there. On the other side, everything's pretty much exposed. So the other side, this is the port side here. Same kind of deal. Pulling in cables for the electric motor for the conversion of the Genoa sheet winch to make it electric. So the nice thing about that is it's not only for the Genoa sheet, it'll also be the sheets for the staysail, the halyards to raise the Jenicas will be also run back there, and we have the option of running the reefing lines back there as well if we want to use an electric winch while we're reefing, which, depending on the level of the crew, the experience and the sort of the strength of the crew, we need to do that. So basically, this boat we sail as a family, and it's a pretty big boat, and there's a lot of force required to manipulate a lot of the winches. So having everything electric means that Robin and Lindsay are able to do the maneuvers themselves, and that makes a big difference. Okay, so outside here, a few things going on. We've installed the automatic release system. So this is basically on the Jenica, one of the Jenica winches. And we put this cam over here. So basically what happens is, if for the system we get too much lean on the boat or too much force into the rig, then the upside up system will release some tension off of the Jenica sheet to depower the boat. There's going to be also a system on the main sheet at the back that will do the same thing. We haven't got that installed yet, but that will be installed at some point pretty soon. Over here, a couple of things going on. We've got the little man overboard buttons. We put them beside each helm, these little silver buttons over here. So what the button will do is essentially it will automatically release our man overboard buoy, John buoy, that will go into the water and to help aid someone in rescue, and it will put an automatic waypoint onto the chart plotter, so we know exactly the location, the GPS location and coordinates if someone goes over. And so we can hit the panic button. It'll also trigger by a wearable transponder, so if someone goes over wearing the transponder, that'll also trigger the automatic release of the system, which is really a good safety thing. So we've made a few changes up here to accommodate the new winches, so I'll just show you that. So basically we've got let's see, the new, so both these winches now, before this was the only winch we had, which was electric, and now we've added the Genoa sheet winch is also electric. So we've got a set of controls over here by the helm for the main sheet winch, a set of controls over on this side for the Genoa winch, and these controls here go to the new winch which we've just installed, and I'll show you that in a second up on the bridge deck, on the foredeck. That is for the furling systems for the staysail and for the Genicas. So basically let's just show you kind of how that's going to work. Okay, so we'll go up here onto our foredeck here. So you can see here this new winch that we've just installed here on the foredeck. So basically what that is going to do is going to be a continuous line that will come back from, and I'll just run you through and show you where it is. So if you follow the longitudinal beam up forward, you can see the attachment points. The first attachment point there is for the storm jib. The second attachment point is for the staysail, and then you've got the where that we have the self-tacking jib now. That's going to be where we put the Genoa, so that's already got a line, a furling line back into the cockpit. Then up front forward of that is the attachment point for the Genicas, whether it's code D or the code 0, or if we have an asymmetric spinnaker, which we don't right now, but mainly for those two sails. So right now what we do is we have the Genica attachment point, and then there's a line that goes from that on a continuous line all the way back around, and we've taken it off now because we're not going to use it, all the way back down to the back of the boat and back to that one of those powered winches in the cockpit. Instead what we're going to do now is there's going to be a furling line that's a continuous loop line that goes around the furling drum for the Genoa and for the staysail. It'll be the same kind of deal, and each of those will come back to this powered winch, and we'll put a few wraps around the winch, and then we have the winch control switches, which are down here. So there's a set here, and then there's a set at each helm, so we can essentially set the sail up to be furled, be it either helm station or up here, and just use the electric controls to run the furling line, and it will furl. We could furl in the Genoa, or we can furl in the staysail. So that will make things a lot easier and a lot safer, and essentially allow us to do some of these operations single-handed as well, which right now it requires a minimum of 2 people. So that's going to be a pretty big improvement, I think. So back over here to the starboard helm, and similar kind of deal. So you can see we've put the there we go. So here's the release system for the upside up for the Genoa sheet, and same deal. Basically you put some slack in down off the side, put in a couple of wraps around the winch, and then bring it into here, and this blows and it takes tension off and goes down. It won't be blocked onto the jammer here. It'll be unjammed, of course, but that's how it works. And you can see the guys have put in the pad eyes for the pulley guide systems that will guide the Genoa sheet back to the winch, and then there's a little spot here where they're going to put the final guider as well. It's going to go back there, and similar kind of deal, exactly the same as the port side with controls for the winches. So set of controls for the main sheet, main halyard winch, set of controls for the Genoa sheet winch, and a set of controls for the the foredeck winch for the furling drums. And the other thing we haven't done yet, which we will be doing, is putting in the jammers for the guy line for the symmetric spinnaker. So that's going to go right over here. You can see they've got the two here. One is, so the black line you see here is for the dagger board, and the other line beside it, this one here, goes over to the furling drum for the Genoa, and right beside that there'll be also a third one which will be for the symmetric spinnaker, so that's going to go in as well. Alright, so that's pretty much what's going on right now. Still waiting for the sails to arrive. They've been ordered, they're being made right now, and yeah, just everything's kind of moving along, and a lot of good work being done. Looking forward to getting the boat tidied back up again when it's all finished.